Moneyball is a strategy that involves finding and making use of undervalued players based on statistical variables. It was a method developed in the sport of baseball and has recently found its way into football, with teams like Toulouse and Brentford, to name a few, applying this strategy. So as said earlier, this strategy works by getting the most of undervalued players based on statistics, mostly on a tight budget or to save money. There's so many videos on YouTube that go into depth on how this strategy works. I'll link them in the description below. Now we headed into season 2 of this journey, and we start off straight away by signing Yusek on a permanent deal from Fenerbahce and sold off some players that were not a part of the plan for the rest of the journey. I had a little change of mind tactically in the formation we were going to use going into the season. Seeing as Palmer was not as proficient in the scoring department at the end of the season as he was at the start of the season and midway through the season, I decided to change the formation to a 4-4-2 and have someone next to Palmer that he could play off of. So looking at the formation, we had to make some signings that fit the team. So using the Moneyball strategy that we talked about earlier in the video, looking for the exact attributes we needed, I signed Mpoku, who was going to be our second striker next to Palmer for 1.6 million. We signed backup striker Eriksson and center back Abreu on a free transfer. So we make some changes to the backline and move O'Connor to left back and bring in the new signing Abreu, and Eriksson is on the bench. So we get some preseason games under our belt and also an opportunity to see how this new formation and new additions to the team work. And I'm not disappointed as the boys put on a good show, and I'm impressed by a majority of players, but Palmer did seem to be lacking a bit of confidence. We were about to go into the first game of the season when we get the most shocking offer for Duncan. It's a tempting offer, but we talked to Barrett, persuading him into staying at the club and how he might not get as much playing time in PSG. Through some negotiations, we get him to stay at the club. We had jumped that hurdle for now, but it was a sign that we could still lose some good players if the right offers came in for them. We went into the first game of the season against Wycombe Wanderers, and we looked to start the new season with 3 points. We start Eriksson in this game due to Palmer's recent lack of confidence in front of goal in preseason, and Abreu as well on the bench. So O'Connor goes back to center back and Mendy at left back, and we get a really good chance early stages of the game as Eriksson finds Mpoku, who puts it away for an easy debut goal. It doesn't take long as we hit Wycombe on the attack again, and it's Eriksson in a good position, finding Mpoku in a better position, who puts it away for his second of the game. We hit Wycombe on the attack again in the second half, and Mpoku looks to be a really good player for us so far as he gets an assist for Eriksson's debut goal. The game looks to be over as Mullen grabs the fourth goal of the game. We slip up defensively at the other end and concede a goal, but then Eriksson goes up, gets a second goal of the game, and the match just ended up being an absolute hammering of Wycombe as we win 8-2, and Mpoku getting 5 goals on his debut proved to be a success. Now I want to be honest and say that this season was probably the best season I have ever had playing career mode, and it was all because of this player, Mpoku. I'm not going to bore you guys with me talking over all the important goals we scored or didn't score, and I'm just going to get straight to the point and say that we won the league, and it wasn't even close. I don't know how we went from fighting all the way to the last day of the season in League 2 to absolutely dominating the season in League 1, which should have been harder with just 2 signings, but one of them being the main MVP. Like, look at some of the scorelines and goals from Mpoku. I mean, if that's not enough, look at his stats at the end of the season. I have never used a player that has gotten 60 plus goal involvement in a season in all my years of playing career mode. Mpoku was just not good, but he was really good, and I think it's because he just fit the role of center forward really well. He's decently quick, can pass, can score, and links up play very well. I mean, with the amount of assists, he's the best link up player we have. Oh, I almost forgot. We won the Papa John's trophy as well, but I mean, it was such a walk in the park to win it that I didn't really care that we did. I was more shocked how easy it was, but as well as we played, we still were in a match for Premier League teams in the FA Cup as Fulham knocked us out horribly and we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup pretty early. But mainly because we gave some new signing Kowalczyk and Kovalenko some game time and they weren't really up to the task. Mpoku has been a revelation for me this season and I really hope that he can replicate this performance going into the championship. This is a more shorter version of the series, mainly because I don't want to bore you guys by just talking about the sheer amount of goals we scored this season. We would be here for 30 minutes minimum. All I can say is that you should give Moneyball a chance, if not in this FIFA 23, then definitely in FC 24, because from trying it for the first time, it feels amazing to find a player no one knows about and turn him into an actual beast of a player.